Hello everyone, it's Catherine here from Inky Fingered Cat, back with another Christmas in July project. Now this was a bit of an epic project and turned into, well, 4 cards in total. It was not my intention to make 4 cards when I started out. I just thought, not played with my Dylusions inks for a while. I've remembered now why I don't play with these very often. I don't have a problem with getting messy, but my word, everything gets messy. Everything gets messy. And I know that if I was to go and wipe my desk now, despite multiple cleanings since I've made these cards, I'll still come away with blue and purple on the wipe, cleaning it up. So I took 3 different colours, a sort of tealy colour, purpley colour and blue colour, and coated 1 piece of cardstock. Realised I was going to end up with far too much ink left to wipe up, so made a second piece of card, coloured a second piece of card as well. So that's the one on the right hand side, which is more bluey coloured and a bit lighter. The one on the left hand side is very intense in colour. I do love them, but they're just, whoa, they're messy. Now, I should have really gone and got some paper towels from the kitchen, but instead I tried to do the sort of like bleaching technique with the water, threw some stencils and used a cloth to try and mop it up, but it doesn't really do anything. It adds some slightly different patterns to the paper, but not very much. So now I'm taking my stencils and instead doing some ink through them, spraying the Dylusions ink through them. Again, because there's so much ink down there, very little pattern really visible, but I persevere. I keep using up the ink that's on the stencils, trying to clean up as I'm going along, but everything is just, saturated in ink. So, bit of a warning. Dylusions ink, very inky. I'd forgotten I persevered with this and tried water on that stencil as well, but again, doesn't really do a huge amount. I mean, I think you can see some of the snowflakes there, but not very much. So I decided I'm going to dry these all up. By this point, my hands are absolutely filthy, but there you go. I'm trying to clean them, trying to use a little bit of hand sanitizer on them. Nothing's left in them at this point, but never mind. So I decided I would use this frame. This cover die from Creative Expressions. It cuts out all those little panels and that lovely sort of frame, and I decided I'm going to do this for both of the pieces of inky paper that I've done and cut them out and then decide what I'm going to do with them, because I think when you've got a messy background like this, it helps to just bring it into some semblance of order with this die, especially when you team it with white, which is what I'm going to do. So my white cardstock, very thin, so I fold it over, use my Pritt stick to stick two layers together, and then that's what I'm going to die cut through. I thought at this point, I know an easy way of doing this. Turned out to be not so easy, but I thought, right, I'm going to trim it so it's a little bit wider than the actual panel, and then I'm going to put a piece of paper that I've completely covered with my double-sided tape down and put that behind it, and then all of those holes have got some sticky. Really, you need a full adhesive sheet for this to work, and even then it doesn't work very well, partly because the cardstock I'd inked was a very thick watercolour, but also I hadn't die cut it particularly well. My die cut machine, I think people who've watched me before know I'm desperately in need of a new die cut machine. Actually, during this session, the handle fell off. I mean, it's gone back on again, but you know, when you're just like, I really do need a new die cutting machine. So my die cutting machine doesn't do very good with even pressure. So my intention was to just stick one thing over the top and lay it down. It'll adhere in the right places and then it'd be easy. But no, didn't quite work out that easy, partly because it was slightly tearing and it also hadn't cut through in all places. So I did end up doing a little bit of fiddling. Didn't take too long to do it, but you know, it worked out. So I did the same for the second panel as well. So I've ended up with those 2 die cut frames and a panel, 2 panels with white frame with all of the colours in the inside bits. So at this point I am mounting those frames onto some piece of cardstock. One of them I chose to use the just plain white, but it's a bit flimsy, and the other one I use the watercolour type of paper, which is a bit thicker. So I'm gluing it down. There were a couple of places where the frame in the middle was a little bit flimsy, shall we say, and yeah, it needed a reasonable amount of glue to stick it down. So I've took my Tidings and Trimmings dies, in particular the large star and then that very crisscrossy star. I am die cutting black this time, not because it's flimsy, but because I want it to be a little bit beefier. I do 2 layers of the black for each of the 4 stars that I'm cutting. There's a couple of them where I hadn't quite got the full star across 2 layers, but that's fine. I'm just going to turn it upside down. It'll work fine. And then I decide, right, sparkly silver glitter paper. Yeah. This is where I remember I don't like silver glitter paper because I don't like the texture of it when I'm working with it. I don't like the fact that everything ends up glittery on my hands, etc. And also with a fine die like this and a dodgy die cutting machine, that it doesn't die cut well. So I keep in this version of it, which is very, very, very speeded up, and then I turn the camera off because my goodness me, it takes some fiddling. And you'll see for the very final cards, I didn't actually punch out all of the pieces in the end because I just ran out of patience, and I decided it was fine whether they were all cut out or they weren't. It's fine. I think sometimes it's that glimmer paper. It also has like a plasticky layer at the back, and that, you know, sometimes just stays in place too. So after I've fiddled with them all off camera, this is me now gluing them all into place. In some ways, the ones that I've got those extra little chunky bits of the star, because I've not cut them all apart, actually works for hiding a bit of the glue. And at this point I decide, hey, I'm running out of energy because I've been going for over an hour at this point, probably about an hour and a quarter. But also, they're quite intense cards, these, because of the intensity of the inks. Even though they're obviously not solid pieces anymore, they are quite intense. So I decide, right, they're all going to be dead simple. They're all going to have a die cut word on them. They're all going to have a star on them, and they're all going to have a piece of ribbon in some way, shape or form. I've chosen this purple ribbon. I've had it in the stash for years and years and years. It's like a organza purple, like Cadbury's purple kind of colour. And so it's quite rich. It works with the colours that are in those backgrounds. It's not the same, but it works with. And then that's basically it. I'm going to stick them down, stick them in a slightly different place each time, have the ribbon look slightly different. A couple of them are portrait, a couple of them are landscape. And obviously they've got slightly different words. I think joy appears twice, but otherwise the other one's bright and the other one's peace. Now I could go in and add the rest of the sentiments like peace on earth or merry and bright, but I decided I didn't even want to do that. I think I'd run out of energy and my hands were filthy, and I was just like, yeah, today I'm over it. That was the kind of day I was having. I actually did this after work as well, so it was a tea time project, and it was like, yeah, I need to go and cook tea. I've been at this for hours. So yeah, but actually I think that they work. They work as cards. In the end, I think they're fine. So how did I finish them off? Well, for 2 of them, I took this purpley coloured cardstock. I think... No, I can't even think what colour this will be. Might be Wisteria Wonder. Don't know. It's a very old Stampin' Up cardstock. I'd got a piece of 12 by 12. So I cut 2 card blanks out of that. One of them I folded just really weirdly, but eventually it works. I decide that these white ones just need to be trimmed down a little bit more. I also trimmed down the other ones as well, but you'll see that in a minute. But yeah, just kept it really simple. This light purple cardstock, didn't do the first one straight, is perfect for the backgrounds for those. And then the smaller ones, I decided to do a black card blank. Again, had to just trim down them slightly, which was slightly frustrating. I'd not done that before. I'd adhered the ribbon and the star because they were a bit bulky. But yeah, these are just your standard A6 size cards now onto the black. Obviously, I have to put an insert into my black cards because I need to be able to write on them. And although I do have silver and white pens, it's just easier to put a white insert in. I decided to make this into a sort of like a card insert rather than the usual just a panel because it was a bit of a thinner cardstock and it worked well for doing that. But yeah, as you can see, my hands were just coated in ink. So little quick tip as you look at the finished articles is to invest in a craft scrubby, which I hope Ranger still makes. I've had mine for years and years and years, and it's just basically like a pumice stone, perfect for with a bit of soap at the sink and some water, rub it over your hands where the ink is, and it just takes it off because it's taking a layer of your skin off, but it's not something that makes it sore or anything. It makes your hands really nice and soft actually. So yeah, that's what I did. So quite a lot of photos because there's 4 cards, but I hope you enjoyed that. Do you use Dylusions? Do you love them and hate them in equal measure? And are you a glitter fan or not? I'm not. I don't think I will ever buy glitter paper ever again. I've still got quite a bit left in the stash to work through, but I just can't see me ever buying it again because I hate it. Well, if you want to see more videos from me, please do subscribe and don't forget to hit the notification bell. Obviously, I'm posting very frequently at the moment. That's not always the case, but doing quite well with Christmas in July. But until next time, goodbye.